country. Now, there are some generally accepted steps that you want to follow to solve a problem. It normally looks something like this. We can go through the steps. The first step is to assess the current situation. It's to define what is the problem that you want to solve. This is what we were doing so far. We're determining what problems need fixed in our country and what policies are failures. And in part 2 of this series, we'll continue to define the problem. In step 2, you determine what you want the solution to look like. What goals do we want to achieve at the end of this process? What does success look like? The Beardsley Doctrine does that. It defines what's wrong and then clarifies what's right and what success looks like for our country. We'll discuss the doctrine more as we go forward. In step 3, you determine what are the possible root causes that could be causing the problem you're trying to solve. Then when you get to step 4, you develop a strategy that you believe will correct the most likely root cause and enable you to accomplish the goal that you want to achieve. This strategy, in the long-term plan, it's called the PRESS plan. We'll also discuss that plan in a later segment. In step 5, you implement the strategy. You provide the people that are executing the strategy with a clear understanding of the strategy. You give them the tools, the training, the knowledge they need to implement the strategy. Later in the series, we're also going to cover what tools, training, and knowledge Americans need so they can help solve our problems. Finally, when you get to step 6, you've done all the hard work. Now it's necessary to see if the action plan accomplished the goal. So in step 6, you assess and evaluate the results of your work. If you corrected the problem and attained the goal, great. Time to move on to fix the next problem. But if you didn't, you have to determine if the failure was due to an ineffective strategy or a lack of proper execution of the strategy. If the failure was due to an ineffective strategy, return to step 4. Modify the strategy based on what you learned up to this point and implement this new strategy. If the failure was due to lack of execution, then you have to return to step 5. Ensure those that are tasked with implementing the strategy have a clear understanding of the strategy and that they possess the tools, training, and knowledge to implement it. If they don't, then you have to invest the required time and training to ensure that they do. Then implement the strategy and continue to step 6. You continue to repeat this process until the goal is achieved. But in our country, it appears that we've forgotten all about step 6. Even though our results have been failures for the last 50 years, we keep doing the same thing over and over again. Doing the same thing over and over again, but expecting a different result, it's a definition of insanity. Good leaders complete step 6, they make adjustments to the plan as needed, and they achieve the goal. Why? Simple. Commitment to the goal, allegiance to the people that trusted them to be their leader. In the case of the leaders of our country, we expect them to set our country on a path to success out of allegiance to America and Americans. So why is it that we're stuck in this pattern of failure? Maybe our leaders don't have an allegiance to America. Maybe instead they have an allegiance to money or to power or to their friends or campaign donors. Maybe their political party. Maybe they just have different goals for our country than we do. Maybe they are achieving the desired outcomes that they want for our country. That's why nothing's changed. Whatever the reason, it's time to think about new leaders that have goals similar to ours and have an allegiance to America and Americans. I think it's pretty obvious at this point we're doing a lot of things wrong in this country. In part 2, we're going to look at several other failed policies that are threatening the future of our country. We're also going to begin to look at a path forward to work our way out of this mess. Feel free to share this with friends and family, because working together is the only way forward. It's said that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. The journey to reclaim our country may seem more like a journey of 1,000,000 miles, but it still all begins with one step. Today, I take that first step. Take that first step with me. I'll see you next time for part 2.